Hi guys, it's Sherry. Today we're going to be making a really unique necklace. I'm super excited about this. I got my Create Along box and it's on the Gothic romance. So of course I had to open it up and start working on something right away. And it came up with a really neat idea. So I'm excited about showing this to you. So this is my Primo Silver Clay. I rolled it out to my thickest setting. My red Primo Clay, and I rolled that out to my thickest setting. And the first thing I'm going to do is just get my plastic wrap. I'm going to lay that out, and then I will get my cutter. And this is the skull cutter that comes in the kit. And I'll show you, look at the detail on that. Look how cool. Now I did get a little bit of clay stuck in there while I was playing, but I didn't use my saran wrap, and that's why we are going to use saran wrap. So I want to make sure my edges are pushed down real well to cut through. And I don't push down on the teeth too much because they do get stuck in the clay with the saran wrap. So what I decided I was going to do was just press down on the edges. And then when it comes to this area, I'm just going to use my blade and clean it up. And then I save the aggravation of having anything stuck into my cutter. So I'm just going to take off all the extra, and then I'll just smooth everything out. Take the eyes out. You can leave the eyes in if you don't press it down too far. I want my eyes out, so I will be making sure they are out. And I'll take one of my tools and just smooth out the inside. And this is just a dentist tool. You could get this right at a dollar store if you are wondering where you could purchase one. And then I'm also going to take the nose out. There we go. And then for the rose, I will cut out 2 roses. And I like this rose because you can actually make it smaller or use the full size. And I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, so now we got our 2 roses here. And I also want to use my stamp. So this set came with the kit as well. You got a skull, a rose, and a raven. And I really love the raven, so I want to make sure to incorporate this raven. And I'm going to make a bead out of this raven. And I just happen to have a metal cutter that fits this perfect. Okay, so now we have all our pieces cut out. And I'm going to start with the roses because I want to show you guys what I mean by making them smaller. But first, we are going to color our pieces. So now I have my pan pastels, and I'm going to use black. And you're also going to need a baby white for this. So I just have a small paintbrush here. And then I am going to go over my flower to color in all the detail here. So I want to get my sides well, and then all the little detail that imprints onto this through that cutter. And I am super excited that Create Along did a detail cutter this month, because I absolutely love detail cutters. So you can see I just kind of covered the whole piece here. And I'm not going to go down because we are not going to use the bottom half. I am actually going to make this rose smaller for what I want to use it for. Now you can use the entire rose, but I want a smaller one. So I figured out how I can cut this and reshape it into the size that I want. Okay. So now I'm going to take my baby wipe and I will go over the top and take all the black off of the areas that I don't want my black on, because I just want that in my little indents here. So I'll let that dry a little bit and then I'll go over it again. And this dries fairly quick, so you'll be able to go right over it again. And if you take a little bit too much off of the black, that's okay, because we can put it right back on. And then I'll take my dry towel and I'll just kind of press it a little bit. Now I am going to take my knife and I'm going to cut the bottom part of this rose off. And I'm going to follow the design. So that is the section I am cutting off. And then I'm going to take it and I will push this together. And then I'm going to take my pan pastel again and I'm going to go right around my edges, because I want my edge all black. I want all the sides black. I'm going to go over this little area again because I took a little bit too much off. And once again, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then just push them together. And if you're wondering if they're the same, put them right up next to each other. And then you can kind of measure them out that way. Okay, so now I'm just going to wipe it one more time. And you can see as it kind of sits there, it's easier to start wiping it. And now I just want to do my ravens. And I will get a little bit of the black around my metal, or the metal look as well. So we want to kind of go around it a little bit, shadow it, but we don't want too much. And if we get too much, we just take it and wipe it up. I'm not making it overly dark. This is more like shadowing your piece just to give it a little bit more character. And I want to get a little bit more black here as well. I took off too much of my black. And I'm going to put these off to the side. These ones, we're going to make this into little beads. And I may only use one of those. I haven't made a full decision on that one yet. All right, so the next step is to work on our skull. And this is the fun part because we get to really create the piece the way we want it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to use my rose. And to put these on, you just match them up and then turn it. That's all you have to do. So this rose is going to go on the very top. But you see how I have part of it on and then part off? I don't want the whole rose on it. I just want a section of my rose. So I'm going to measure it up. I'm going to press down on it. And then see, I get that beautiful imprint in my rose. Now I'm going to take this and just do a little bit on the side and a little bit on this side. So I'm not doing a whole lot on the sides. I'm doing more in the middle and then a little bit on the sides. Then you need a sharp tool. So you could use a pointer or one of these dental tools as well. And the first thing that you're going to do is mark your eyes. So you could do straight lines or you could do one of these tools, but I'm going to use both of them and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take my tool and then I'm slowly going to put little marks right around my eyes. And this kind of gives it a little flower look. And I love that because it really helps bring the piece to life. So you're taking this cutter that is detailed, but you're making it more detailed. And you don't need too many special tools for this, which makes it really nice. So I'll do the same thing. And I'm just going to work right around my entire piece, making my marks. I'm going to push my nose back into place. And now I have a tiny ball tool here. And I am just going to put little dots right around just to add a little bit more. And I'm not going to go around the nose because it's a thin area here. So you don't want to stretch it out or push it down too much. I'm just going to kind of stop right there. Because you can see right here, this is a thin area. So we don't want to rip it. We just want to kind of leave that alone. Then I'm going to take this tool. And I'm going to go right in the middle. And then I'm going to make a little vine. Do the same thing, go right here and make a vine. Let's make some leaves. Oops. Let's bring them up wherever you would like. And to make the leaves, Well, all I'm doing is, it's going to be a little hard because I'll have this on a hard thing, is I am pulling up and then the other way. So you're just drawing in your clay, just like that. And that'll give you your leaf. And then I'm going to do a smaller one right here. This is such an easy project to make your cutters more detailed cutters. And look how beautiful that looks. So now the last thing I want to do to really bring it to life, I'm going to put one right in the middle, is I'm going to get my pan pastel one more time. And I'm just going to go right in and start dusting all my stuff. And this is going to give it a nice antique look. So go right over all those areas that you just drew on, and that this dust here, or mica powder, will go right in to all those crevices. I'm going to do a little bit inside the nose area. Get the teeth. So basically get your entire piece here. Just put the pan pastel right over it. We want to make sure all our little indents are getting covered in this. I'm going to go over it with my hand. Make sure I'm kind of making sure that's really in my areas. Then take my wipey again, and now I will wipe my piece. That mica powder will get wiped off, and then the black will stay in all those areas and give it some nice detail. So simple. I mean, just a really easy trick to give your piece a really neat look. I'm going to take my bottom of my tool here and redo my nose. Make sure that's nice and smooth. Get my eyes. Let's lift it up. And look how cool that looks. So now I am going to take my eyes and I'm going to kind of reshape them to how I want them. So I want to make sure that my clay is not laying inside the eye. I want it outside. See all that extra clay there? So I'm going to just kind of push it over, and then I can sand that down after it's baked. And there. How cool is that? I'm super thrilled with how nice that looks. So now we have our roses, we have our skull, our two ravens, and now we're going to just make a couple beads. Let me get my hands wiped off here because I got black all over them. And I'll just take my cutter here, and this will make sure that my beads are all the same size. So I'm going to cut 4. And then I'll take that. I'll cut 1 in half here. I'll do the same thing with this one. And I'm making simple beads, nothing difficult. So you can see to make a bead, all you do is take your clay, roll it up, and then just roll it in your fingers and your hand, the palm of your hand. And then you'll get a nice round bead. And it does not have to be, this particular project, it does not have to be 100% perfect. And what I like about the silver clay is you can see as you roll it, it gives you different silvers in there. All right, so since I am going to put these right on my necklace, I'm actually just going to take my my pins, and then I will push them right in down the middle, spin them, and then I'll bake them right on here because I will actually just use these eye pins. And then everything's baked right on there. It's ready to go, and then I just have to reshape them. Now, if I was going to do it a different way, I would end up using my my bead pins, but because I know this is exactly what I'm going to be using for my necklace, I'm just going to put them on right away. All right, now check over your pieces. Make sure everything is how you want it. Don't worry about if the back is dirty. We will do a quick little sand on that and make sure that all that dirt is off. I'm just going to kind of brush right over my sides again. If I missed any areas. If you want more of the black off, do it now, because once it's baked on, it's a little harder. Then you have to sand it down, but then you flatten your piece out. So I'm just going to make sure that all my stuff is mainly off before I put it in the oven. Alrighty. And this particular one, I actually am going to make this into a bead. A different type of bead originally than I was going to. And I'm going to make it double-sided. So I'm going to lay this one down. Oops. I'll put my pin right in the middle. Make sure that it's straight. Because that'll make it easier for me to hang it. Oops. I'm going to make sure this is 100% straight, which I do not have it straight. There we go. And now I'll put this side on. And this is such an easy way of making a bead. And now this will be ready to go, and then I just turn that, and I'll show you that later on in the video, how I will do that. So now I am just going to make sure my sides are nice and smooth. All right, so see, now we have our double-sided bead. I have another one here that I did, and I could even make this double-sided if I wanted to. So if you make 2 of them, you can potentially make this a double-sided necklace. And I think I am actually going to do that. just to try something a little bit different than I normally would. So I'm just going to adjust my piece here. Now you can see my eyes and stuff are not lining up because of the way the clay stretched. So I need to stretch my clay to make it fit. So that's what I am going to do. And I love clay because you can really do just about anything you want. Clay is so fun. You could stretch it. You can make it smaller. I mean, there's just so much you could do with this. And I wasn't going to do a double-sided, but I really like the idea, so I'm going to go with double-sided. And now you see how the insides don't line up? I'm just going to take my cutter. I'm going to trim it up a bit. So there's not a whole lot you need to trim up. I'm going to take my tool here, get the nose where it needs to be. Get my eyes where they need to be. Smooth everything out. Here you can see I kind of broke it a little bit, but that's okay. It's clay. We can smooth it back out. I'm just going to push that down a bit. And I know sometimes my videos, I start out with one idea and I change it, and I'm sorry for that. But that's basically the type of creator I am. I really kind of just go with the flow. And I encourage people to do that as well, because I think that's what makes art fun, is going with the flow and making your piece your own. So if you don't want to do a double-sided one, you don't have to. You can make a single one. I love the idea of doing double-sided. I don't know why. I just really like the idea. So I'm just going to trim this up. Take my smoothing tool. Smooth it out. You can see the nose piece went right back together nicely. I'm going to take my edge, clean that up as well. And then smooth that all out. And to smooth it, all you do is rub those two pieces together. And little by little, it becomes one piece of clay. Oops. So now this was the first one that I made without you guys. That was the one that I made with you, and you can see it's slightly different. So now I'm just going to push my pieces in again that I kind of flattened out. So just kind of reshape them a bit. I love this. I think this is so cool. All right, so my roses, I also made some of those ahead of time. So I'm going to do the same thing. These ones aren't as nice. And I don't know if they're the same shape. So we got to kind of see if this will even work for the roses. It may not. And I think it will. So let me match it up the best that I can. And then kind of reshape them as well. These ones I will end up putting my eye pin in. Got a little white here. So I'll take my eye pen. I'm going to push that right in there. Go right through the middle. And then I'm going to make sure that I have this completely closed up by pinching everything together. And the nice thing is you can make it skinnier around the edges. And that way you know your piece will be held nicely together. Now, since I was playing with that, I kind of fingered it all up and got a lot of my black where it shouldn't be. So I'm going to clean my piece up again. And that's all because I changed my mind on how I am going to do this necklace. So let me know if you too are that type of person that you'll start a project and then all of a sudden you say, nope, I'm going to change it. And then you go with a different idea. Or if you are the type of person that once you plan something, you stick with that plan no matter what. So look at that. Look how pretty that is. I love that. So we went from that rose to this rose. And I love when we could do stuff like that with cutters. I love that we could change them and make them the way that we want them to be. There we go. So once again, I'm going to take my edges and I'm going to pinch them. And I just want to make sure they're similar in size. They are not going to be the same. I'm going to tell you that right now. None of them are going to be identical. I really love how these came out. You see how pretty that is? I think that is so pretty. I really like those a lot. This one I kind of took a lot of the imprint off, unfortunately. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm just going to kind of mush that right back in there. Give me just a little bit. Now you can see, I can see that imprint there again. And what I will do is I will take my brush and very carefully this time just go in the areas that I want to add black, because I don't need the whole thing black. I just want a little shadowing to go on, kind of. Very happy with that. Beautiful. Okay. So now I will put these all in my oven, 275, and I'm going to bake them. This is pretty thick, so I'm going to do about 45 minutes. Normally I do a half hour. So I'm going to do about maybe 45 minutes, I'm going to say, and I'll kind of play it by ear on the way that it looks. But I'm thinking 45 minutes should be plenty of time for this. And then we'll come back and assemble all this together. All right, guys, so all my pieces are out of the oven. They cooled off. I did glaze them, and I glazed them early just because I didn't want to have to glaze them on camera and then wait for them to dry and then come back. And it's just easier for me to show you what they look like when they're done. So if you're wondering how to put glaze on, buy your glaze and then just take a paintbrush and brush it on, and then it'll dry. So look how beautiful the flowers look. Absolutely gorgeous. I am super happy with them. Another thing that I end up doing is I'll just take some of my clay. When I glaze my beads, I stick them in the clay, and that helps hold them up while they dry. So that's a little trick that you can use if you have beads that you want to glaze. So our next step is starting to put all of this together. So the first thing I will do is my actual beads here. So I know I'm going to want my beads all the way at the top here. So I'll take my pliers, I'll hold and then I will push them all the way to the top. Then I will take my round nose pliers, I will bend it over, and that'll kind of give me an idea of where I need to cut it off, because I do not need all of that. So I'll cut off some of the wire, and then I'll take my pliers, and now, so I turned it this way, now I'm going to turn it the opposite way. So take your needle nose pliers and turn your bead the opposite way. And I'll show you one more time how I did that. Once again, take the bottom, turn it, clip off what you are not going to need, and then rebend it in the opposite direction. And you'll have a nice little loop. And we will do the same thing with this one. So pull it all the way to the top here. And do a small bend. So now there's not much to turn on my roses. So I am actually just going to take my pliers right at the tip, and then I will just turn them. I'm not going to bend them over. I will just turn them till they connect right next to my clay. And you'll see I still have a little loop there, and that will work perfectly fine for putting my jump ring in. Okay, next step, get your little drill, and I am going to drill a hole on each side here. So I want to make sure that my piece is even when I drill my hole. So I am actually going to go right off of my rose petal here. So you can see right where it ended on both sides. So I'm going to use that as my little measurement points. Make sure you stay close enough away from the edge. And then just go straight down and go right through your piece. So I'm going to go right over again, measure it up with my flower, put it straight down. All right, and now I will get my chain, and I'm going to set this up before I cut anything to see exactly. Oh, I got a drill right here too, I forgot. So I decide I'm going to hang my raven right off the bottom here. So I'm going to drill right in the middle of his one tooth. All right. So set everything up the way that you want it to lay out. So I know I want my raven under the mouth here. I know I definitely want my flowers here. See which side of the flowers I like best. Look how gorgeous that looks. That came out so, so pretty. So now I have all my beads. And I just got to decide how I want to do my beads. So I think I'm going to do a big bead there and here. And I think I should do one in between because that's kind of how I drew up my picture initially. Maybe I should do a big one down here. I think that's how I'm initially, I think that's how I'm going to do it. I think that looks nice. And then I might hang something else off of this, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So it's all kind of deciding how you want to do it as you go. So actually, I think maybe the two smaller ones would go here, and then maybe a big one there would look nice. That would look pretty. And then I gotta decide, how long do I want my chain? I want this to be a pretty long necklace where I could just drape it right over my head. So I'm thinking about that length there. So I will take this, get a little eye pin, and that's about the length that I know I want. So I'll take two right here. So now I have my rope tied together like that. And then I'm going to find my middle section here as well. And now I know which chain I have to cut by putting that in there. And this is what I found to be the easiest way for me to do my measurements. And now I know I want to cut that link right there. So put your finger right there as you pull it out. And now I have my two links, or two pieces of chain right there. So that'll be the first section there. And then I'm just gonna go tiny in between my flowers. So I'll take my chain once again, and I know I want it to be small. So I'm gonna just loop them right like that. Hold that straight. Find my middle one. That's going to be my middle one right there. Get that on. Hold that up. Okay, that's right there. And then I know that's my middle. And this way, by doing this, I know all my chain is going to be even. I know exactly how much length I want. And now see, if I want to do the same length for that, I will lay this out. I'll get these two. Lay them out straight, and then I could easily find exactly, by holding this eye pin, I could find exactly which one is going to make it even and which one I need to cut. So I know right there is going to be my middle. And now I could just take this, hold that down, Make sure I'm even. I am. And then right there is where I'm going to have to cut that one. And then I know that is my middle section again. So to me, it's just easier kind of doing it this way. But if you find it easier to measure your pieces, do that. Whatever you find to be easiest for you is what you need to do. And then I'm just going to take a decent size amount, and that'll go, because I want this to be long. So I'm just going to cut this off right here. And that will go on the top, and that should easily fit right over my head. I'm going to take all different sizes out. So to connect my beads, I will get my small ones out. So I will actually start with that because that is going to be the easiest thing to do. So I will take my jump rings, take 2 pliers, open those up, take one, take another, and then just close it. Now I want to show you something. If you're having trouble getting your jump rings to close properly, I have found the easiest thing to do is take your pliers and go back and forth, and then your jump ring will just naturally close fully. And it's so cool how it does that, because I used to struggle trying to get all my pieces together, and now I don't have no issues. So for that attachment, I'm going to go a little bit bigger. And I might be able to use this size. And I'm not sure if this is going to be big enough or not, so we will have to kind of test it out. So this is an easier one to open. Put that on. Put my bead on. And then close. And that one closed real nice. And like I said, if it doesn't, just wobble it back and forth. And look how beautiful. I love that this is double-sided. I am really happy with that. Very, very happy with that. So now I need to start attaching my other pieces, and I'm actually going to see if those same jump rings, because I would like smaller jump rings if I can use smaller, but I do have bigger ones if I need them. So let's try out our smaller ones first. And I have to see if before I attach anything, I just want to see if this is going to close right. Oops. Or if it's going to be too tight. Let me get another pair of pliers. Much easier with flat. Oops. And that should work. Okay, so I'll keep that partially open. I'll take my chain. My hands are shaking. Put my chain on. There we go. And then I want to go back and forth again, because that's going to make my jump ring tighter and closer. And you want to make sure your jump ring is completely closed so your chain doesn't pop off. And look how nice that came out. So now I'm going to take my small one again, open that up, put that on the end, and then attach my bead. And then reclose that. And now it's just a matter of linking all your pieces together. That's why I like to set everything up the way that I did, because now, little by little, I have everything right in order of how I want to lay it out, and I can easily link all my pieces together. So now this one, yes, we're going to keep going the same way. We're going to keep adding our little ones at this point because we don't have no big, like deeper holes that we have to worry about. All of this at this point is just linking, so we could use all our small little jump rings. Okay. I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed this month's box. The Gothic Romance really came with some cool stuff. This is just a few of the items. I really want to play around with some more, but this was the first one, and I thought it worked out so perfect for the month of October that I figured I would share this project before I play around with anything else. And remember, if you don't want something really long, you could change the length of your chain to the way that you like it. We are almost done. I'm super excited to try this on. I mean, how simple is this? I mean, I thought this was a pretty easy project of using your cutters and just playing around, changing them a little bit, and then, oops. And then making everything double-sided. That, I think, is so fun. I love doing the double-sided thing. Because this way, you don't even have to pay attention on what's front, what's back. You just put it on and it's complete. And then not only that, what I like about the double-sided stuff is when it turns, because it's going to be such a long chain, you know it's going to turn on you and it's going to flop around, and you will always have your creation showing. So whether it turns backwards, forward, sideways, whatever, you're going to have your creation showing, and I love that. Okay, so my last thing I want to do is put my gemstone on the bottom. I'm going to get red. And then I have a very thin wire. Now I'm going to tell you right now, I am not a wire expert. I'm not even sure how to properly wire things, but this is how I do it. So if you know a better way of doing it, please do it your way. I'm just showing you the way that I know. So I am going to put my stone on the bottom here. I'm going to bend my wire. And then I'm going to take my wire and then I will twist it around. And then I'm going to loop this, put it back in the same hole, Probably doing this completely wrong, but like I said, this is how I know how to do it, just by playing around with it, but I'm not even sure if that's right. So I want my thing to have a little loop at the top. Then I'll take my second one and then I will start wrapping this around. So I'm going to take that, hold this in place. I'll wrap my wire. This one I'm going to cut. And I'm going to cut it down towards the middle so I can wrap around that. This I'm just kind of holding into place, and then I'm going to take my wire here and start wrapping it around tightly. So please, if I'm doing this in a different manner than the correct way, this is my necklace. Don't leave me a nasty comment telling me, oh, you think you know what you're doing, blah, 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 because I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm doing. But be kind. And I'm just putting that, and look how beautiful. So even though I'm not an expert, I think that came out pretty darn good. I'm happy with it. So my last thing to do is add my small jump ring. I will connect my two pieces. Make sure it's closed all the way. And there we go. Here is our finished necklace. That finished it off beautiful. I'm super happy that I added that little gemstone. Nothing is sharp on it, so I'm happy about that. I'm always worried if I will have a little sharp edge. So you always want to make sure that everything is nicely tucked away and put down nicely. Right here I have like a little section there, and I just want to push that in properly so it doesn't get caught on my shirt, and that feels good. So here we go. Look how beautiful. How nice is that? And I love, 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 love that it's double-sided. I keep flipping this over because this is my favorite side, and that's my favorite side. So not that the other sides look bad, they're just not as detailed as those ones came out. So I really hope you enjoyed creating this piece with me. I hope that I was able to teach you something new. If you did enjoy this, please subscribe, like, and share. It really does help me get out into the YouTube world, and I really appreciate all the help that you guys give me through sharing and liking and subscribing and all the little things that, you know, YouTube wants people to do. I really, really appreciate everything that you guys do. The comments, all of that really does help. So once again, thank you again. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.